Hello everyone and welcome to a Theros block draft with me. Hi, Brian Kibler. I'm actually recording in my hotel room at the Pro Tour in Atlanta. It's the day before the Pro Tour starts, and I'm doing a draft to record and help out you guys as well as practice for the event. So here, this pack is a pretty easy first pick. So Test and Tactics here is incredibly powerful. It's one of the absolute best cards in the set. It is frequently, just Plague Wind your opponent for 5 green mana or whatever. So super powerful, pretty easy pick. If this weren't here, I would probably pick Golden Hind. The green accelerators have always been very good. Golden Hind is even better than Voyaging Satyr is because it's actually a reasonable body and can attack. After that, I would probably take Sigil's Starfish because that is just a really effective tool for smoothing out your draws and winning longer games. They can also block early, but we're taking some Test and Tactics. Here, the best cards here are Mogus's Warhound is very good. Feast of Dreams and Hubris are two of the better commons as well as Oakheart Druids. Mogus's Warhound I think is the strongest card here. I'm generally actually fairly inclined to not really want to play red-green. I don't think red-green is one of my favorite color combinations. Generally when I'm red, I want to be heavy red, and so Test and Tactics is a card that requires a pretty heavy commitment to green in order for it to be excellent. It's also better in decks that want to play a longer game. I do think that one of the best archetypes is actually blue-green, and Hubris is quite good. Feast of Dreams is another excellent card, but I think it's a little bit better than Hubris, but I think pairs worse with Test and Tactics. I'd like to play Test and Tactics, so I think that Hubris is a little worse than these cards, but I think pairs better with this and is more likely to end up in my deck overall. So I'm going to go ahead and take Hubris. And then here, this pack's fairly weak. Cast into Darkness is pretty good. Supply Line Cranes is pretty good, and after that it drops off pretty dramatically. After that, there's really only Font of Fertility that I'm really at all excited about. I think I want to take the Supply Line Cranes. This is shockingly Shuhei's favorite card, or one of his favorite white cards in the set. He loves his 3/5 creatures for 5 mana. But here, I think I'm going to take the Supply Line Cranes. Green-white, I think, is actually still reasonably strong if I do end up playing the Tactics. Blue-white or green-blue, if I still end up going that direction. Not really, Passive Darkness is at its best in like a really aggressive deck, and that doesn't necessarily combo with what I have. So we're going to grab the Cranes. Here, well, I'm pretty happy I have this Hubris. Whitewater Naiads is excellent. This guy is one of the better uncommons, I think. Just making your guys unblockable when he comes into play, or whenever you play an additional enchantment, it's really powerful. He is a 4/4 creature for 5, which isn't by himself amazing. We're not really seeing much in the way of green, so we may unfortunately have to abandon our Test and Tactics. But we're gonna go ahead and pick up this Whitewater Naiad here and be pretty happy about it. Here, well, there is, I'm certainly not going to be able to play this card. This card, I have no idea actually how powerful this is. It's 7 mana, so it can't be that good. But here, Nature's Panoply is pretty good. These two, the black enchantments are both pretty good. I'm inclined to just take the Aerial Formation. Aerial Formation is a pretty powerful trick. That can be particularly effective in a green-blue deck. Again, we're not really seeing great green coming our way. We're not really seeing much white either at this point. But we'll leave ourselves open. We're most likely to be blue at this point, and Aerial Formation is on par with at least the other cards in the pack and is the most likely card to end up in our deck at this point. So we're going to take that. Now here, so another Supply Line Cranes. It's possible that we're in a draft with people who don't really like this card. And aren't necessarily valuing it very highly. It's not really the sort of card that I want to pick up right now. I already have, it would be my 3rd 5-drop, which is about the limit of 5-drops I actually really want to have in my deck. So I'd really like to take a cheaper card. But I do think this is just the best card that in terms of how it pairs with what else I have so far. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. It's also just the best card in the pack overall. Cast in Darkness is pretty good, but I think it's worse than Supply Line Cranes, particularly given that I already have a white card and don't have any black cards. Here, all right, this is getting better. This guy I think is actually quite good. He's 2-drops I like a lot. In just in general in the format, I think that you want to be able to. You can pick up a lot of 2-drops, but you can't necessarily pick up a lot of good 2-drops, and this is one of the actually good ones. Because late in the game, this guy actually continues to have impact because he can hold off your opponent's big creatures. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Fortifier here. It is interesting to note that there's a couple of good red cards here as well, but white is the direction that we're looking to go at this point. And here. This is actually a pretty late Cast into Darkness. This card's pretty good. We don't really want any of these. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this Cast into Darkness. Maybe none of these cards will end up in our deck. Maybe we actually potentially look into the possibility of switching into black if it's super open. Here, Font of Fortunes it's okay in some decks. I don't really want to be playing a Font of Fortunes deck, but Font of Fortunes is pretty good in a deck that's relatively controlling and has powerful cards to draw into. We do have 3 5-drops, which makes the Font of Fortunes, more attractive in this sort of deck because it needs a bigger bulk resources. But nothing super exciting here. And then Rouse the Mob this is super late. This card's very powerful and I think is really underrated. We're just going to go ahead and hate draft this because there's nothing we're going to actually play in this pack. And then here's another Cast into Darkness, so we can consider looking into possibly being black instead of one of the colors we have right now. I actually like Mortal Obstinacy. I think this card is pretty reasonable, especially if you end up with heroic guys. It can end up allowing one of your evasion creatures just kill an opposing enchantment creature. Nature's Panoply. All right. Well, we have a kind of a unfortunate split in terms of our colors and such. We have what, 4 good white cards, 2 good green cards, 2 good black cards, and 3 or 4 good blue cards. So we have options, I would say. Eidolon of Countless Battles. Well, that will be the option we are taking, because Eidolon of Countless Battles is one of the most powerful cards in the format. So we're going to grab that and make it pretty clear that we're going white unless things go horribly wrong for us. Other than that, there is Retraction Helix, which is also excellent. Oracle's Insight, which is okay, unamazing. It's pretty good with Inspired guys, because it allows you to get value out of them even without attacking. We're going to take Battles. Here, this doesn't really have... Oh, there's a Shieldmate. Shieldmate's pretty reasonable. Phalanx is okay. Unless you're red, he's not awesome, but he's still pretty reasonable just as a 3/3 Vigilance for 4. Think about the Shieldmate, though. We don't really have a lot of cheap guys to bestow him on, but I think we have the possibility of picking some of them up. Let's go ahead and grab that. I'm going to go ahead and hide some stuff. So... we're still not necessarily just white-blue. We might be, white-green or white-black even. Probably white-blue, but we didn't really see a ton of late blue in that pack, though. All right, it's a pretty easy pick here, I think. The Sun Guide is one of the better 2-drops. He's quite strong, very good with bestowing a Shieldmate or something on him, or an Eidolon. So we're going to grab that. We're a little short in the middle of our deck. All right, well here, this is pretty easy. We have Retraction Helix and Sudden Storm, so blue looks to be the color we want to stick with. I'm going to take the Retraction Helix. I think Helix is a bit better than Sudden Storm. I think they're quite close, but I do think Helix is a bit better, so we're going to grab that. And Glimpse the Sun. Geez, this is a lot of tricks. Right now we have Helix, Aerial Formation, Hubris. I mean, Glimpse of the Sun Guide, it's hard to not take it because it's just so powerful, but there's also the Sun Guide that I'd love to take, but I think I have to take the Glimpse. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and start hiding things. All right, so we're blue-white, and we're going to take this Shieldmate, who's awesome with our stuff. Font of Fortunes is probably not going to end up in our deck. Look at how many good 1-casting cost things we have. That's pretty exciting. We really do need creatures right now. We only have 8 creatures so far, and we definitely need cheap creatures. We have nothing at 4, only Eidolon, who's kind of just a 4. So we're looking for 2, 3, and 4 casting cost creatures, basically, at this point. That's our primary hole in our deck. And here's one of them. Here's an Elite Skirmisher. He's an excellent card for our deck. We are going to take him. So we'd love to get some some of the classics from Theros, you know, Wingsteed Rider and such. We only really have 7 creatures we cast too, because we have shield mates who are mostly kind of enchantments for our guys. Alright, here, well, nothing for my deck. The Reap What Is Sown, I think, you know, we're certainly not going to look to splash it, but it's a really powerful card that we don't want to play against. You know, maybe through some crazy fate we end up with not enough cards when we do splash. And maybe that becomes a card that goes in our deck, but we're not going to try to play that card. We'd much rather have a consistent deck. We'll take a Nullify here. We still are really very much in need of creatures. And here's where I'm like, oh well, you know, maybe I wish I took the what's it, Sun Guide over Attraction Helix or over Glimpse, because I'm definitely in need of creatures here, and I'm very, very short on them. We're gonna go ahead and just take. This guy can bring back Eidolon. So. Any card that you might possibly play is generally better than just some sort of hate draft. Alright, well this is not very good. But we might play it. We're certainly going to play another one of these. First Forecasting Cost spell. Ooh, a Great Heart. There's a creature. Not a great one, though it is technically great, I suppose, due to the name. Alright, we'll just take... Ooh, it's a rare. So here... We don't really want to be playing this. Don't 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 want to be playing this. So we're still, you know, a few creatures short. Daxos, that's a good creature for our deck. I do think Daxos is better than Hoplite for us, probably. We do have 2 shield mates, but they're also just great on Daxos as well. So Daxos really fits exactly what we need. It's a, you know, sort of middle of our curve creature. We can suit him up with shield mates to make him really difficult to get to deal with. Then a foil Overlord too, fancy. So yeah, we're just gonna take Daxos. I think he's the perfect card for us right now. It would be nice if we could take this Hoplite as well, but there's a very good chance we get like the Traveling Philosopher out of this pack at least, though, because there's a God's Willing and a Favorite Hoplite, both of which are likely to go, or even a Wavecrash Triton, which would probably be even better. So we're gonna take Daxos though. And this pack has a Voyage's End. We want creatures, but we'll take Voyage's Ends. It's about the last trick I really want to play. I am definitely in need of some dudes. Triton Tactics. Triton Tactics is very good. Is Cavalry? How good is Cavalry Pegasus in my deck? I think I just need the creature. I have Daxos, who makes Pegasus pretty good. Yeah, I think I actually just have to take a creature over this Triton Tactics, because I only have 11 creatures. I have a lot of good tricks. You know, Formation, Helix, Hubris, Voyages, and Glimpse. I don't think Triton Tactics is what I'm looking for. I think I want this Cavalry Pegasus. Nimbus Naiad. Ooh, Heliod's Emissary. Even better. Alright, this one's coming through. I think with the Heliod's Emissary here, I think it's close between that and Naiad. I think Heliod's Emissary is a bit better, though. It also just fits our curve. We only have 1 4 and we have several 3s. Also, Nyxborn Shieldmate is sort of a 3 sometimes, so it's even more in that direction. Here, Snarecaster I think is what we're looking for. We don't really have a ton of use for late game mana to make Burnished Heart very interesting. And Snarecaster can help get our guys through, which is particularly powerful with stuff like Daxos. So, let's take him. This is, I think some of these picks help illustrate that it's very important to recognize what the needs of your deck are, rather than just, oh, this is a good card, I'm taking it. This is a good card, I'm taking it. You know, I think it's very important to look at, you know, the fact that, okay, well, this deck needs creatures. This deck needs tricks. And you know, right now, for instance, this Dauntless Onslaught. This Dauntless Onslaught is great, but if it were next to a quality 3-drop. Let's say a Wing Speed Rider. I mean, that might not be a good example because Wing Speed Rider is so good. But I would consider taking the creature over it simply because I have a plethora of tricks, but am a little bit lacking in creatures. But we're gonna take this and be happy about it. Another Cavalry Pegasus. Well, we're not really looking for a bunch of Pegasi, but we don't really have any other picks here, so we're just gonna take it. We already have 3 5s. You don't want another one. Pegasus is gonna be better than those. I'm hoping the Traveling Philosopher comes back because that is a card that my deck wants. We'd really love to see. I mean, it's too late to actually expect to see something like a Nimbus Naiad. Artisan of Forms or Wave Crest Triton, both of those are excellent. I think I mean, Artisan of Forms is really good. It can be, pretty incredible copying, a Heliod's Emissary, a Daxos or whatever. I guess I can't really copy my Daxos because then, is that better than Wave Crest Triton in my deck? I think Artisan of Forms is better. I have, a number of ways to target instant speed, which is really powerful with Glimpse, Helix, Formation, and then I have Shieldmates. So yeah, Artisan of Forms is going to be really good in my deck. And there's the Traveling Philosopher, which we wanted. So sweet. We get to cut one of these Cavalry Pegasus, which is nice. So I mean, my deck is basically going to look like these cards minus a Cavalry Pegasus, I think. So here, we can go ahead and cut. We're not going to play a Bronze Sable, so maybe we just hate draft this Dragon Mantle. We're certainly also maybe we board in a Yoke Dox against someone. We'll just take this, and we're hate drafting this because it's a real card. So this is basically what our deck's going to look like, minus the last bunch of picks that are obviously not going into it. Alright, so our deck I think is pretty solid. There are certainly, a few things I would prefer. I'd like to have, another good 3 Traveling Philosopher over 1 Pegasus. And then we have one more card in here. I think I just want Mortal Obstinacy. I don't really have any heroic guys though. I ended up with 0 heroic guys, so Mortal Obstinacy is a little bit less exciting. So what is my last card? I mean, it can still just be on, Daxos or, an evasive dude to kill one of their guys, or on Artisan of Forms to turn it into something. I think I just want to play the Mortal Obstinacy. We have a reasonable evasion. We have 2 Cranes and the Whitewater Naiads, along with Pegasus, Daxos, Heliod's Emissary to get through, some bounce spells. This is a pretty solid deck. So let's add some lands, suggest. Always wants me to be horribly skewed, which is almost never correct. All right, so I think this is a pretty good deck. Like I said, there are a few things that I would change if I had have the ability to. I'd like to have a couple more, maybe another good 3 or another good 4, maybe 1 less 2. But overall, I think it's a very good deck, and I'm happy to get to playing with it. So here we go.